Okay, so for this video, I wanted to show you some of the different features of using Lumio. And I wanted to let you know that my absolute favorite thing about Lumio is the ability to kind of pivot in a lesson. So I don't know if you remember teaching in person, but it does seem like a very long time ago. But typically, if you're teaching a lesson and you're reading your room and you're thinking, okay, like they really are not getting this, this lesson is not going the way I want it to. In person, we were able to really pivot and kind of change the lesson, add to the lesson, take away from the lesson, or manipulate it in some way so that we were really quickly reaching the kids at the level that they were at. When we're using online tools, that's not always very easy. And so, one thing that I love about Lumio is it now opens up those possibilities. And let me show you how. So you see on the screen that on the left-hand side, right here where my mouse is the teacher's side. We know it's the teacher's side because we have the class controls. Here's the little people. It can show you that I have joined the lesson as a student. Okay. Here on the right-hand side, you can see the student's side. Right now, it looks very similar to the teacher's side, okay? But I don't have any of the class controls. So that's super important because right now I want to show you some of the different ways you can augment your lesson, but also pivot if things aren't going well. So right now on the screen, I am the only one who can manipulate this whiteboard, and I'm acting as the teacher in this scenario. So let's say we're learning words in the app family, and I say, okay, I'm about to show you this is the word cap. Okay, I moved it on my teacher's side, and on the student side, it appeared. Okay, let's say now I want the students to be able to find the word nap. How am I going to do that without ending the lesson, duplicating this page, and making it into a student activity? Well, let me show you. You simply click here where all these people are. You can turn it into an individual handout. You can turn it into a group workspace or a whole class whiteboard. Okay, so let's say for the purposes of right now, we're going to change it to a whole class whiteboard. As soon as I click that, you can see that on the student side over here, on the right-hand side, I have a resume button that appears. On the left-hand side, I have a blue bar that says everyone can edit. Okay. Let's say I'm not ready for everyone to edit because I want to show them where nap is. I can toggle this over and you'll see that it's grayed out. Let me click resume as a student. I can't move anything as a student yet. So I will say, okay, as the teacher, this is the word nap. Now I'm going to call on somebody. I want them to find the word nap. I toggle this over. All right, test student, find the word nap. Test student is now able to manipulate the board, find the word nap. And I can toggle this right back over so none of the other students are able to move it. Let's say I ask everyone, okay, test student found the word nap. Now I want everyone to go ahead and put a star next to nap. I toggle it back over. Students are able to draw a star next to nap. Okay, so then you're going to start seeing stars appear on the teacher side of all the students who are putting a star next to nap. Okay, this is just one of the ways that I manipulate pages within my lesson to try and get more interactivity, but also to try and gauge some student learning and understanding. Here's another page within the same lesson. And let's say I am introducing this word family. And I read them their little poem and I want them to find two words that rhyme. Okay, so I can model this for them. I can move as the teacher, I can move the images. Oh, right here. Okay. As a student, I can't move anything. This is stagnant for me. It's just a model. So let's say I've modeled it for my students several times and now I want them to be able to show me what they know. But I don't want them to see each other's work. I go on up here and I can convert it into an individual handout. But let's say this is a group that needs that starting word for the rhyming pair. So I move cap up into the box and now I convert it into an individual handout. You'll see on the right hand side as a student when I press start, cap is there. Okay, so as a student, I'm going to move, let's say I move ball into the gray box and then I click done. As the teacher on the left hand side, I see that green check mark. I'm going to click on student, see how they did. Oh, you know what? Student, you chose ball. I'm going to move ball off. You'll see here on the student side, they can see exactly what I'm doing as the teacher. So move ball off. I'm going to move nap. Okay. And I'm going to say to the student again, hey, check your work. Check your work. Hap, nap, rhyme. I need you to find the rhyming word. For them to change it, they would just press edit. They can move nap back up, press done, and that green check comes back on up. And I can say, oh my gosh, amazing job. You're right. You're right. Cap and nap do rhyme. I put a yellow star there as the teacher. They see it as the student. They know that that's correct. Okay, let's say your students don't need as much support as my students do, which is most likely the case, and they're able to type on their computer to share some information with you. Let me show you a couple of really cool things that you can do um, to add into your lesson. So I'm going to go ahead and end this activity. Okay, and I'm going to go to my next page. So let's say, you know what? I don't think my students are ready for this. I want to keep reviewing rhyming pages or rhyming words, but I don't have any more pages of rhyming word. I'm going to go here to the plus button and I can add a whiteboard where I'm the only one who's able to manipulate it, or I can add a whole class whiteboard where they are also able to manipulate it. Let me show you kind of all of these options. So I'm going to add a whiteboard. Again, reminder on the left, it is me as the teacher. On the right, it is the student. You can see that I have the option to add and erase things. They do not. So let's say I want to put two rhyming words. I'm going to put nap and cap on there. They're going to see that. Okay. They're going to see anything that I am writing or putting on here. Okay, a check mark, plus sign, etc., and so on. But again, I've added this whiteboard as something that only I can show the students. Let's say I want them to be able to show me what they know. Okay. If I'm going to add something onto this whiteboard and I don't want the students to be able to edit, I'm going to toggle this over. I'll say, okay, I am adding some words on here. Okay, and I'm going to make this 36 so that they can all see and you all can see as well. Okay, all right, everybody. I have added some words on here. I want you to go ahead and circle the words that rhyme. Now, remember, when you have toggled this over, anybody can then go ahead and start circling. So it could get a little chaotic, or let's say they put check marks next to all of the words that rhyme, right? You would give some more specific directions. I don't really tap into this as much because I have to pre-make everything for my students. Um, because they can't really manipulate the mouse to write things. Um, but this is a really good way to kind of garner some response. The other thing that I wanted to show you that you can really quickly add into a lesson is your shout it out activity. You see that the students have a page right here where they just enter their response. This is very similar to like a Flipgrid. So let's say you present the question, hey, what is a word that rhymes with clap? They can type tap in here and send that response. As the teacher, you're going to see that they wrote tap, which is awesome. You can then, oh, here we go. Oh, sorry. Once you've clicked on this, if there were more students in here, you could toggle between all the student answers. You can say, all right, give me another word that rhymes with tap or clap, and they could say nap, right? So then you're seeing the students' responses here on this board. If you want to ask another question, you can erase the board and start over. Students per lesson or per shouted out activity within the lesson, they get about 5 responses each. A couple of things that you can do within a shouted out activity, which I think are pretty cool, land over here on the teacher page with the star. So you can add a timer. All right, I'm going to give everyone a minute to write as many words as they know that rhyme with the word clap, right? So then you give them this minute. You can change that setting here, how long you want it to go for. You can also add a randomizer, so you can add numbers. Again, you can change that here. Okay. Um, the other thing is a buzzer. So you can, let me go ahead and dismiss this. You can have a blue, green, etc. So I'm sure there's a lot of ways that you can use those. I'm not going to get into it right now because this video is getting pretty long, but I did want to show you those features. The very last thing that I'm going to end my shout it out activity that I wanted to show you is, let's say that what you want to add is already in your drive, but it's not in this lesson, and the kids just aren't getting it, and you want to pivot to something else. If that's the case, you're going to go right here and click Edit Lesson. It doesn't change anything for the students. They're going to be put into a waiting room, okay? But you're able to, let me move this so I can show you. You're able to then click this blue plus sign, okay? And here is the lesson creation page. And it will show you all the different things that you can add in. So you have ready-made resources. Maybe it's manipulatives. Maybe you need to add letter tiles or base 10 blocks, etc., into the lesson really quick because the students just aren't getting it. Maybe it's like a quick formative assessment. You're going to then take like a quick poll, or you're going to do like a quick multiple choice. You would add it this way. The other thing that I really, really like is that you can import any resource here. So we're going to get into what all of these different things are in a little bit, but let's say for the purpose of this is I want them to go ahead and um, do we'll do a T chart, okay? So I've added my T-chart into my lesson and I am going to save it. Once I save it, it opens that back up for the student. They don't have to do anything. It will automatically put them in. Okay? And on this T chart, I'm going to put app family words. Okay, and let's say I'm going to put um, other words. So let's say that I want students to go ahead and be able to type into this. I would just use the same feature as I was. Let's say I want them to work in groups. Okay, I would use the same feature that I was using before to go ahead and get groups. And I'm going to say, all right, go ahead and start typing in words that start or words that end in app and other words that don't end in app. Okay. And it's hard for me to share what a small group work would look like because there's only one student and you need at least two. Okay. But I just wanted to show you some of the different ways that you can kind of quickly pivot within a lesson to try and get more understanding for your students. If it's without having to like pre-think all of the paths of of the lesson beforehand.